You weren't born to grind 5 days just to escape for two. You were born to build a life that feels so good you don't need a break from it. If you're counting down to the weekend, something's off. Let's fix that. Imagine waking up every day excited. Not for a trip, not for retirement, but for the life you've already created. That's not a fantasy, it's the result of intention, clarity, and bold choices. Today, we'll break down how to design a life so aligned with who you are. You never need to run away from it. Let's build that life step by step. Number 1. Design from values. Most people approach life like a firefighter running from one burning building to another. They make decisions based on what they want to avoid, not what they want to create. I don't want a boss who micromanages me. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to live in this city anymore. And while that's understandable, here's the problem. When you build your life around escape, you never actually arrive anywhere meaningful. You just trade one form of discomfort for another. Designing a life you never need a vacation from starts with flipping that mindset. You must begin by identifying your core values, not your pain points. Your values are your internal compass. They tell you what matters most, what feels like home, what brings you alive. They are not dictated by fear or discomfort. They are rooted in purpose, meaning, and vision. Ask yourself, what do I truly value? Maybe it's freedom, freedom over your time, your schedule, your decisions. Maybe it's creativity, having space to make, build, design, write. Maybe it's connection, being around people who get you, support you, and grow with you. Whatever those values are, they're not just buzzwords, they're blueprints. When you know your values, you can start designing from the inside out. That means saying yes to opportunities that align with who you are, even if they feel risky. That means saying no to things that look safe on the outside but feel wrong on the inside. Because the real danger isn't failure, it's success in the wrong direction. A promotion, a house, a relationship, a lifestyle that looks great on paper but drains your soul in practice. That's the ultimate trap. Here's the good news. When you build your life based on values, clarity follows. You stop chasing every shiny object. You stop comparing your journey to everyone else's. You know what fits and what doesn't. Life becomes simpler, not because it's easier, but because it's aligned. Let's take this deeper. Suppose you value autonomy. That doesn't mean you have to quit your job and move to a cabin in the woods. But it does mean you should prioritize roles where you have creative control, flexible hours, or the ability to work independently. If you value adventure, that doesn't mean constant travel. It means seeking novelty, challenges, and variety, even in your own backyard. You start designing your days, your work, your relationships around that value, not against your fears. This shift from running away from what you don't want to moving toward what you deeply value is the foundation of a life worth living. It doesn't happen all at once, but every step you take from that place of clarity is a brick in the foundation of your dream life. Don't design your life like an escape plan. Design it like a homecoming, a return to who you've always been and what you've always wanted. That's how you create a life so rich, so resonant, you never need to take a break from it. Number 2, create daily joy. Words. One of the biggest traps in life is living for someday. You know the script. I'll be happy when I get that promotion. I'll enjoy life once I pay off my debts. I'll start living after retirement. The problem, when you constantly postpone joy, you build a life where happiness is always just out of reach, like chasing a mirage. Designing a life you never need a vacation from means learning to create joy every single day, not waiting for the big moments, but embedding moments of pleasure, peace, and fulfillment right now in your daily routine. This is not about ignoring challenges or being naive about reality. It's about making the choice to find and design happiness within the life you have. Why does this matter? Because joy is what fuels momentum. When your daily life includes moments of delight and satisfaction, you're energized to keep pushing forward. Without joy, you're running on empty and burnout is inevitable. You begin to resent your work, your commitments, even your relationships. That's when vacations start to look like salvation instead of celebration. Here's the powerful truth. Small daily joys compound over time. Like saving pennies in a jar, each moment of happiness adds up. These moments become habits. Habits become identity, and identity becomes the life you live. The key is to intentionally design rituals and experiences that bring you joy, no matter how small. Start by asking yourself, what makes me feel alive today? It might be a morning coffee with no distractions, a 10-minute walk outside, a quick call to a friend, or even writing down 3 things you're grateful for. These aren't luxuries, they're the building blocks of a joyful life. Don't underestimate the power of tiny wins. Another way to build daily joy is to focus on progress, not perfection. When you see that every day has something good in it, you shift from scarcity to abundance thinking. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions and start making the conditions perfect for yourself. Remember, a life worth living isn't perfect, it's well lived. Joy also comes from alignment. When your daily actions reflect your values, which we talked about earlier, satisfaction naturally follows. You don't feel like you're making do, you feel like you're creating. You're living with purpose, not just passing time. One practical approach is to schedule joy like an appointment. Yes, block time for it. This could be as simple as a 15-minute creative break, a moment of mindfulness, or time to read something inspiring. When joy is intentional, it doesn't get pushed aside, it becomes part of your rhythm. Finally, remember that joy is a muscle. You have to exercise it. It might feel strange or unnatural if you're used to grinding through your days, but like any new habit, it gets easier, stronger, and more natural with time. The more joy you cultivate daily, the less you'll feel the need to escape your life. Designing daily joy isn't just a feel-good idea. It's a strategic move to build a life that energizes you, inspires you, and ultimately becomes a life you don't want to escape from. Start small, start now, and watch your life transform, one joyful moment at a time. Number 3, master your. If you want a life that feels like a vacation every day, you must start by mastering your environment. Your surroundings have a profound impact on how you feel, think, and perform. The truth is, environment isn't just a backdrop. It's a silent architect shaping your mood, your energy, and ultimately your behavior. Think about it. When you walk into a cluttered room, do you feel calm or stressed? When your workspace is chaotic, do you feel focused or scattered? When your social circle drains your energy, do you feel uplifted or exhausted? The quality of your environment either supports your growth or sabotages it. Designing a life you never need a vacation from means deliberately crafting spaces and relationships that fuel your best self. It's about creating an environment that naturally pulls you toward your goals instead of pushing you away. Start with your physical environment. This is where many people overlook the power of design. If your home or workspace is messy, uninspiring, or filled with distractions, you're setting yourself up for resistance. Clear out the clutter. Bring in elements that spark joy. Plants, artwork, natural light. Create zones that invite focus, rest, and creativity. When your space feels good, your mind feels good. That's the foundation for daily motivation. But environment isn't only about what's physical. It's also emotional and social. Who you surround yourself with matters. Are the people around you supportive, inspiring, and growth-oriented? Or are they negative, draining, or complacent? Your social environment profoundly shapes your mindset and your habits. Choose carefully. Spend more time with those who challenge you to be better, and less with those who drag you down. Your digital environment counts too. How often do you mindlessly scroll through social media, losing hours to distractions? Set boundaries. Curate your feeds so they inspire and educate, rather than drain and distract. Use technology as a tool, not a trap. Another layer of environment is the routines and systems you build. Your schedule, your habits, the way you organize your day, these create a behavioral environment. When you design routines that align with your goals, you reduce decision fatigue and resistance. Your environment shapes your actions, and your actions shape your life. Here's the key. Environment is often an easier lever to pull than willpower. Willpower is a limited resource. When your environment supports your desired habits, you don't need to rely on sheer force of will. You glide toward your goals with less friction. Imagine your environment as your personal coach, constantly guiding you toward success. When your environment works for you, not against you, life feels smoother, more joyful, and more productive. It feels less like a struggle and more like flow. So start today. Look around you. What's working? What's not? What changes can you make, big or small, that would make your environment more inspiring, more energizing, more aligned with the life you want? Master your environment, and you master your life. That's how you build a life so good, you never want to escape it. Number 4. Work words. One of the most powerful ways to design a life you never need a vacation from is to align your work with your unique strengths, your zone of genius. This is where your natural talents, passions, and skills come together in a way that makes work feel less like a grind and more like flow. When you operate in your zone of genius, you don't just do a job, you create impact, fulfillment, and momentum. Most people settle for work that's good enough or practical. They choose jobs based on security, income, or external expectations, forgetting that real satisfaction comes from doing what you're wired to do. The truth is, the wrong work drains your energy and crushes your spirit, no matter how much money or status it brings. On the flip side, Work that fits your genius lights you up, motivates you, and makes you eager to start your day. So what is your zone of genius? It's the intersection of what you're uniquely skilled at and what you love doing. It's where time seems to disappear because you're fully engaged. It's the place where your contributions feel effortless but deeply valuable. If you're not sure what your zone of genius is, start by reflecting on these questions. What tasks or activities make me lose track of time? What skills do people consistently recognize me for? When do I feel the most energized and alive at work? What problems do I naturally solve better than others? Designing your work life around these insights is a game changer. It doesn't always mean quitting your job immediately. Sometimes it means shifting your role, negotiating responsibilities, or adding side projects that tap into your strength. Sometimes it means learning new skills that bring you closer to your genius zone. When your work aligns with your genius, it no longer feels like work. It becomes a source of growth and satisfaction. You wake up excited because you know you're making progress in something meaningful. Challenges become opportunities to learn, rather than reasons to quit. You start to attract opportunities, people, and resources that support your growth because you're showing up as your best self. This alignment also creates resilience. When work fits who you are, setbacks don't break you. They fuel your curiosity and determination because you're deeply invested in what you're doing. Here's the practical side. Start small. Identify one area of your current work where you can lean into your genius more. Maybe it's taking on a project that excites you, or automating or delegating tasks that drain you. Build momentum by focusing on your strengths daily. Remember, designing a life you never need a vacation from isn't about perfect conditions. It's about intentional shift. When your work plays to your zone of genius, you reclaim energy, passion, and purpose. You turn your vocation into a source of vitality. Work isn't just a means to an end. It can be your playground, your laboratory, when you align your work with your genius, you create a life where every day feels like an opportunity, not a burden. That's the kind of life no vacation could ever replace. Number 5. Build rhythms. A life designed for lasting happiness isn't one of chaos, nor is it one trapped in monotonous repetition. Instead, it's a life that moves with rhythm, a steady, intentional flow that balances productivity and rest, challenge and ease, focus and freedom. Building rhythms, not ruts, is a key step to designing a life you never need a vacation from. What's the difference? A rut feels like being stuck, repeating the same patterns without growth, excitement, or purpose. You wake up feeling drained, going through motions that lead nowhere new. A rhythm, on the other hand, is a dynamic pattern, regular enough to build momentum, but flexible enough to adapt, evolve, and surprise you. It's the heartbeat of a well-designed life. Why rhythms? Because human beings are wired for pattern. Our energy, creativity, and motivation naturally rise and fall throughout the day, week, and year. Ignoring this fact is like swimming against the tide. But when you design your life around your natural rhythms, everything flows easier. Work becomes more efficient. Rest becomes more restored. Life feels less like a battle and more like a dance. Start by tuning into your energy cycles. When do you feel most alert and focused? When do you need to recharge? Build your schedule around these natural highs and lows. For example, if your morning is your peak performance time, save your most important or challenging tasks for then. Use your slower afternoon hours for meetings, creative brainstorming, or lighter work. Respect your need for breaks, movement, and downtime. This kind of rhythm fuels sustainable productivity and joy. But rhythms are about more than just daily schedules. They include weekly, monthly, and even yearly cycles. Block time for deep work, social connection, physical activity, and rest. Make space for hobbies and creative play. Ritualize moments that recharge your spirit, whether that's a Sunday walk in nature, a weekly call with a friend, or a daily meditation practice. When these become part of your regular rhythm, they act as anchors that keep you grounded and energized. Importantly, rhythms are not rigid rules. They are flexible guides that allow you to adapt without losing momentum. Life will throw curveballs. Energy will fluctuate. The point is to create a structure that supports you, not confines you. Many people fear routines because they associate them with boredom or limitation. But building rhythms is the opposite of that. It's about creating freedom through structure. When you know your rhythm, you waste less energy, resisting the flow of life. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding intentionally. You turn your days into a series of meaningful moments instead of a blur of stress. One of the most powerful ways to build rhythm is to prioritize consistency over intensity. Small repeated actions, morning stretches, journaling, focused work sprints, compound into massive change. The key is showing up regularly, not burning out trying to do everything at once. When you build rhythms, you create a life where energy renews instead of drains. You design a pace that sustains you, and you transform work and rest from opposing forces into a seamless partnership. This is how life becomes a flow you want to live every day, not something you need to escape. When your rhythm matches your purpose and energy, every moment feels intentional, alive, and deeply satisfying. That's the heartbeat of a life you never need a vacation from. Number 6. Choose ownership. If you want to design a life you never need a vacation from, there's one truth you must fully embrace: radical ownership. This means taking full responsibility for every aspect of your life, your choices, your mindset, your actions, without blaming circumstances, other people, or bad luck. Ownership is the foundation of empowerment. Without it, no lasting change or fulfillment is possible. Most people drift through life playing the victim. If only I had more time. If only my boss was different. If only I had more money. These excuses might feel comforting in the short term, but they quietly steal your power. They keep you stuck in a cycle of waiting and hoping instead of acting and creating. And while it's easy to blame outside factors, the harsh reality is that you control far more than you think. Choosing ownership means shifting your mindset from "why is this happening to me" to "what can I do about this?" It's a radical shift from passivity to agency. When you own your life, you stop outsourcing your happiness, success, and fulfillment to external conditions. Instead, you become the architect of your experience. This doesn't mean everything will be perfect or easy. Ownership means facing your challenges head-on, making hard decisions, and sometimes feeling uncomfortable. But it also means reclaiming your freedom, the freedom to design your life on your terms. One of the most empowering things about ownership is how it transforms your relationship with obstacles. Instead of seeing them as walls that block your path, you begin to see them as puzzles to solve. You ask, what can I learn here? How can I grow? What's the next step I can take? This mindset shift turns setbacks into stepping stones. Ownership also means being brutally honest with yourself. What habits, beliefs, or patterns are holding you back? Which relationships or environments drain your energy? What are you tolerating that you don't have to? Owning your life means taking responsibility for these realities and making intentional changes, even if they're hard. Here's the bottom line: if you don't take ownership, someone or something else will own your story. You'll live reacting to circumstances instead of designing your future. You'll always be at the mercy of outside forces, and your life will feel like a series of escapes and temporary fixes. But when you step into ownership, everything changes. You reclaim your power to choose, create, and grow. You build resilience because you know your destiny is in your hand. You design a life so aligned with your vision and values that you no longer want to run away from it. Ownership is not about perfection. It's about commitment. Commitment to yourself, your goals, and your vision. Commitment to showing up, learning, adapting, and pushing forward, even when it's tough. So start today. Look at your life through the lens of ownership. What can you take responsibility for right now that will move you closer to the life you dream of? Make that decision. Take that action. The moment you choose ownership is the moment your freedom and your real life begins. This is how you build a life you never need a vacation from, by owning every moment, every choice, and every outcome. Because when you own your life, you own your